It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacey Higginbotham is here. Jeff Jarvis is here. And Pruitt is here. What are your plans for a Zoom Thanksgiving? We'll compare ours. Say hello to the new Google Pay. Hasn't Google done this once before? And YouTube kills Rewind 2020 because it turns out 2020 wasn't exactly a year you want to rewind. It's all coming up next on Twig. This Week in Google comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. Securing every access point in your company does not have to be a challenge. LastPass unifies access and authentication to make securing your employees simple and secure, even when they're working remotely. Check out lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 586, recorded Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. Makeup as a Service. This episode of This Week in Google is brought to you by ESET. ESET protects businesses worldwide with internet security products and services backed by world-class research and tech support. Get an interactive demo at try.eset.com/twit to start your free trial today. And by Linode. Simplify your cloud infrastructure with Linode's Linux virtual machines and develop, deploy, and scale your modern applications faster and easier. Get $100 in free credit when you create your account today at linode.com/twig or text TWIT to 474747 for a direct link to the offer. And by RemoteWorks, a podcast that tells extraordinary stories of teams that made the shift to working remotely. Search for RemoteWorks anywhere you listen to podcasts and download each episode today. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show we cover the latest news from the Googleverse with Stacey Higginbotham of StaceyOnIoT.com. Hello, Stacey.
Hello. I knew you were going to catch me first because I just ate a cookie.
What's today's Christmas cookie of the week?
Lemon rosemary butter cookies, and they are delicious.
Show us one.
Oh, I just ate the last one, so sorry.
I knew that. That's why I said it.
I only had two.
That's exactly why I said it. I ate it. Oh, man, I'm jealous. Now, did you make this with your daughter, or is this
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
and these were rollout cookies, so we got out the rolling pin. Very exciting.
Love doing
We're
that.
practicing
Yep.
our Christmas cookies to share with people who want Christmas cookies during
like
COVID.
A sugar base, right?
Yeah, butter and egg yolk, actually.
You know what I'd like to do is make a cookie that looks like COVID and see if anybody will eat it. With spikes and everything. That's Jeff Jarvis. Thank goodness he laughed at buzzmachine.com.
I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I'll eat anything. I'm Mikey.
It would be fun to pass out COVID cookies. He's the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York, and our most welcome contributor. Hello, Jeffrey. And on the far right there, that's Aunt Pruitt of Hands on Photography, Hands on Wellness, who cannot hear himself right now.
No, I have no idea what I'm saying right now.
He just can't hear himself. Today, we will not talk about Apple's M1 chip. You have my well, I'm not going to give my word on that.
Oh, come on.
We might. You never know. I will talk about the Nest outage that took everything out, including your security cameras. I mean, I don't mind if my Nest hub isn't working, but I mean, you take out my security cameras, that's a potential problem. Stacey on IoT, they fixed it. Did they ever say why it went out yesterday?
Oh, I didn't see a report yet, but I wasn't looking for it. This happens. I mean, this happens like at least 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always tell people, like for baby monitors, because there's all the baby monitor people.
That's another one.
Don't use these for baby monitors if this is really your only option. Use a dedicated proprietary radio technology. There's a reason that those exist, and it's because they're more resilient than trusting something in the cloud. But this is cheap, and it's easy to use. And for most people, it's going to be good enough. So
good news.
That's why I was going to ask, why would someone use it as a baby monitor? Is it because it's a lower barrier to entry, just so easy to just do it.
Well, and it's not a baby monitor. It's cool. You can look in and see. A lot of the official baby monitor ones are pretty expensive. They don't tie into your smart home. They're not going to get cool features like Nest might one day recognize, hey, your baby is laying face front down, and they shouldn't,
that's
and
good.
Alert you. They don't do that now, but they could.
Baby monitors are surveillance. It's part of the evil takeover of technology.
This isn't that. This is just...
Well, don't use it for a baby monitor, because if it's down...
you're not going to know.
There is a Nest X or Times Yale lock. Apparently that was unaffected. Thank goodness, because that would be a big problem if for 45 minutes you couldn't get into the house. But that seems to be working all right. Nest camera feeds were down or having issues. The Google Assistant or Google Home app apparently working okay. This happened in August. So it's not the first time, and it probably isn't the last. But it probably should inform you about using these devices for anything mission critical, like a baby monitor or a door lock.
Yeah.
I've always been nervous about Bluetooth and other door locks. I just want a regular physical door lock.
So I will say two things here. A door lock can physically, it can gracefully degrade, right? You should have a key somewhere.
It fails closed, not fails open.
Well, yeah, it does fail closed, but you should still be able to get to it. Bluetooth is also local, so you don't need cloud servers if you're...
That's true.
So if the lock has the token and your phone has the token, then you're fine.
That's true. Yeah.
But you couldn't let your maid in, or someone like that maybe, and that might irritate people.
I hate it when I can't let the maid in, then there's no one to sweep up. My new car is, it's a Ford Mustang Mach-E, uses Ford Pass, uses the phone and Bluetooth LE to unlock the door instead of a key dongle, key fob. I think
you have it?
Not yet. They're making it on Tuesday.
I'd like you to do a show from the car, please.
I will.
I want to see the car.
I will. But that's the new thing, right? Apple has this built into iOS, but at this point, I think it only works with one model of BMW, the Car Pass or Car Key, or what Car Key, I guess it's called.
Do you also get a dongle?
I'm sure you still get a dongle. I would expect that. And there is a manual entry technique with a number pad on the door. So there are other ways to get in, but there's no lock and key. There's no barrel for the key. There's no key like that.
That's like the Tesla. And I will say I once got locked out of the Tesla. Well, I didn't get locked out. I couldn't start it remotely from my phone because it was in a parking garage and it couldn't access the internet, and I didn't have my key fob with me.
It reminds me of a friend of mine who's a well-known director who had one of those the first edition Fisker cars, electric cars that had the solar panel on the roof. And I was asking his wife, how do you like it? She said, well, it wasn't great. We drove up to the Oscars one year and couldn't get out. So it was a good entrance, right? Go around the block. Go around the block. Go around the block. John, go around the block. So she wasn't a big fan. They were cool-looking cars. They're still around.
They are cool-looking cars.
Yeah, because they have solar panels on the roof, which do not accumulate enough power to actually do anything worthwhile. It's just cool. They're just cool. Google Pay. Well, I should save that for the changelog. We don't. God knows we need more things for the changelog.
I put it in. I put it in for the big guy, for the grown-ups table.
The grown-ups table, really? You want to put it on the grown-ups table?
Changelog. I think it's a big deal.
All right, it is a big deal. It is a big deal.
Then why would you shove it in the changelog?
Yeah, the changelog is the kiddie table.
God.
I don't.
Google Pay has been updated to do peer-to-peer payments. In fact, actually, a lot of new.
No, it links to your bank account.
Yeah, there's a lot of new
Isn't
stuff.
that the story?
Well,
we're talking about the bank account story.
Well, it's all part of the same.
Right.
I focused on a different portion of it than you did.
Oh, okay. That's the
really
changelog
messing up the
portion.
story, Leo. Jeez.
It now allows peer-to-peer.
It's a changelog because this is something that they've had before, updating again.
But there's a critical mass point. Is it a big enough change that you might actually mention it on Twitter? No, I guess it fails that test, actually.
Would you do
Okay.
a fleet is the
Fair
question. Wait a minute. They're called fleets. What is the singular? Is there a fleet or are they just all fleets? Would you do a fleets? Do we
I would
know?
flit.
On the Twitter story.
I would. Is the verb form to flit? I will flit.
I
the
will
fleet.
flit the fleet. The fleet I flit.
I fleeted.
I fleeted. It doesn't
and then
sound
in the
good
past
at all.
tense, when it's gone, I flat.
So this is a new feature on Twitter, which you will only get on mobile. You won't get it on the desktop. Nor will you get it in any of the third-party Twitter apps. So you have to be using the Twitter native app on iOS or Android. And it's basically Instagram stories or Snapchat stories. It's
Or
a pretty
Facebook stories.
It's a pretty close clone of Instagram stories. Have you played with it? Yeah, you have, because I saw your fleet.
Yes, I decided to give it a shot. I don't know how long I'll play around with it. And if I do, I'm just going to pretty much do it the same way I do Instagram stories, because my audience over there is different from my audience on Twitter.
Yeah, and you already have the content, so
Yeah, so I'm just going to sort of double dip it and just use
What do you
it
think
as
of it?
more promotional and behind the scenes stuff.
Is
if
it-
anybody's going to even watch it. And
is
I
it as
think I
easy
put-
to use?
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
That's the
for me
real
anyway.
thing. I think it's got to be easy to use. People aren't going to use it.
It's easy
If anybody
to use.
watches it, because if no one's watching it, I won't put any more effort into it. But I mean, I had like 100 people or so on that last one within the last couple of hours.
Well,
so I
that's
guess-
one thing that's a little disappointing. I don't think Instagram does this or Snapchat. It shows you immediately who's seeing it. And what's more, if you have a multi-image fleet, if you have a multi-image fleet, a fleet is plural for many ships in a fleet. It's a collective
Right.
noun.
Okay, but this is a pun and a twist on fleeting. So
Fleeting.
just say fleet. It's a fleet or fleets.
Or is it fleets?
One floats a fleet, or flits a fleet, or one has flat.
Fleeted.
Fleeted.
I done fleeted.
Fluted.
I saw 3 deer yesterday.
But did you see a fleet of deer?
Or were there multiple types of fishes?
All right, back to Google Pay. I don't know how we got in
It's a
this
flute.
one. Google Pay is launching Plex bank accounts with Citi and other partners next year. That's a little bit different. The new app is in early access. This is the official announcement. Let's go say.
They had an event
Say
today.
hello.
See, Ant, I think that's a test. If they have an event, it's bigger than the changelog.
It shouldn't be in the changelog.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
agree
that's
with that.
That's the test.
So this is
I guess I was focusing more on just that they're coming back. I didn't necessarily think about the Plex card.
where'd they go? They didn't go anywhere.
Well, yeah.
Okay, wait.
mean
let's,
these are features they used
let's
to have?
start this
Okay.
Let's just
all
do the
over
story.
again. Let's do the story. We're getting a little bogged down. So
the-
let's start with, they had an announcement today where they
Yes.
shared
What was it, Stacey?
Google Plex. And what is
Oh,
Plex?
let's talk about it. Leo, what is Plex?
Plex allows you to have a digital bank account. They've also added peer-to-peer payments, and Google Pay now can only be used on one smartphone at a time, which is a bit of a disadvantage. Google's kind of trying to get in the same business Apple's been in for some time with Apple Pay. The announcement, say hello to the new Google Pay. The new application will help you, quote, improve your relationship with money, end quote.
Well, okay. It's also, it lets you,
Is
it's
this
like
budgeting?
Venmo in that you can help your friends. You
Yep.
can say,
Peer-to-peer.
hey,
Yep,
give me this money.
yep.
It also does things like it holds rewards for various businesses that you're working with. I think Apple Wallet does that. And then there probably are budgeting things.
Let's go to the video. Oh, wait a minute. It's 28 minutes long. Never mind. Let's not go.
Let's skip the video.
That's far beyond change.
They are working with probably, was it 11 or 16 banks to offer this?
Although there's something with Citi specifically. Like if you want to start a new account with Google Pay, it'll be through Citibank. So
And that's new, isn't
that's
it?
new, yes.
Okay.
I guess, Ant, what you're thinking about, maybe, remember they had a credit card for a while briefly?
Yeah, they had a debit card. 'Cause
Yeah.
I used to have one.
I did
A little
too.
White debit card.
Yeah, so
And then
that
it
went away.
They just
Yeah.
killed it off.
Yeah. Now they wish they'd done that because Apple's making bank on its Apple Pay card. These Plex accounts are with Citi, but other partners will come along next year. So it's more now. Basically, Google Pay was touchless payments, NFC payments.
And if you want, you can link your bank account with Google and get like all this information tied to what you've purchased, which is kind of like searchability and I assume eventually analytics.
Well, and what's interesting, of course, is Google has for some time offered advertisers using Google's ad platform cross-reference information. This is what advertisers love. Oh, and by the way, that person who saw your ad the next day charged that product at the store. And remember when we announced that, and everybody's saying, what? That's kind of creepy. Because I guess they're collecting the transaction information and they can match you up somehow to the credit card transaction. Well, advertisers like it because
of advertising.
Yeah,
that's
they want to know. Yeah, they want to know, did that person buy based on the advertisement? Yeah, that's everything they want. Is it Valhalla or the Holy Grail?
Valhalla is like heaven. So
Yeah.
I would say it's more like the Holy Grail. I was in the same place, Leo. I was like, Valhalla? Okay.
Well,
You
but
say
it's
Valhalla,
heavenly.
I saw Valhalla.
It's not. It's the halva of advertising.
I think they've arrived in Valhalla. They've arrived in advertiser heaven. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm sticking with it.
He's going to go with
Moving right
Valhalla.
I'm going with Valhalla.
That is where the heroes killed in battle in Norse mythology feast for an eternity with Odin.
Yes.
Oh, and aren't
Is that
they
what
waiting?
advertisers are
They're
trying to do? An endless meal with Odin?
But aren't they waiting to come back and defend against Ragnarok?
Yes.
Okay.
Stacey, now you're doing it. See,
And by the way,
And we're talking about this on a Wednesday.
there's a new ransomware called Ragnalocker.
Oh.
Wow.
I like that. I just like the name. I don't like the ransomware.
With regards to this account, would you all recommend the average person to just dive in and use this as their accounting system, bank account system? Or do you suggest going to...
no, because Google will kill it in 3 years.
Isn't that funny? That honestly, that is really a consideration nowadays with Google. I don't know if I want to go all in on any Google product because then what happens when Google tires of it? Just as they did, Ant, with that credit card, which I still have, but is not useful. And they didn't
Yeah.
last.
It's just a credit card.
I know.
Your bank, and it's not your bank. They're partnering with
Cities,
real banks.
You'd have a real bank, yeah.
Yeah, your real bank account is never going to go away if you do this, right? And it's FDIC insured and all the good stuff that you should look for. And it gives you the functionalities of things like Venmo with the protections of the financial system, which is actually kind of nice.
Banks for a long time have fought a rearguard battle against Venmo with Zelle, Z-E-L-L-E. And a lot of banks use that Zelle system to kind of give Venmo-like features to your bank account.
But if nobody else
Although-
has it, then what good does it do, right?
But Zelle was actually, they had a lot of fraud
Yeah,
recently. So
yeah.
that's a little bit.
I
What
like
they're offering
Venmo. Everybody
reminds me
has
of
Venmo.
Cash
Everybody
App.
takes Venmo. I use Venmo all the time. When my kids
That
need
and
money,
Cash
I
App.
Venmo it to it. Or Cash.me is good, yeah. That's from Square. It's interesting. I mean, I've been researching digital, online only bank accounts for some time because I'm always looking to see if there's a better deal out there. And the thing when you're assessing an online bank account, you got to figure out what the fees are going to be, what it's going to cost you if you go below a certain amount. You may be, if you have a savings account, interested in what their rate is in the savings account, and those vary widely. So there is some consumer shopping that's appropriate before you create a bank account with anybody. I usually go to NerdWallet, which does some reporting and rating of these kinds of things to see. There's at least a place you can go to kind of compare the various rates and so forth.
When you say internet or digital banking, what are you talking about? I mean, I've had an internet bank since like 1998, 99.
I used to be with Bank of America in 1980. I started using an online bank. It was so bad. It was 40 characters wide, white text on a black background. It was a terminal. even if you were using Windows in 1988, it was a term, I guess, was Windows out? I don't know. And then it was all caps. It would go, brrr, brrr, but you could do online banking. What I'm talking about is not that, which is an online interface to your existing bank, but banks that have no branches, banks that have no physical place.
So that is my bank. I have an account at First Internet Bank. There are no branches.
Yeah. So then the other thing that you look into if you're interested in that is, well, what about ATMs? Because I'm going to need cash somehow. And there are all sorts of plans. I actually looked at Axon Bank and I thought, oh, this looks pretty good because they had a high savings rate. But then I found out to get cash, I'd have to go into a 7-Eleven, that their ATMs were in convenience.
They charge you $10.
And they were in convenience stores. I have USAA, which I've had forever. They have no branches either, but they do the right thing. And this is what I would look for is I can use any ATM and they refund the ATM fee. So
mine too.
Yeah. So First Internet does that. That's good. That's the kind of thing to look for. And I presume there's no fee checking.
No fee checking. I mean, right now, all savings rates are just...
You could shop around, though. There are some savings rates as high as 1%. But, yeah, it's not enough to...
Not enough to move your entire banking account.
Yeah.
But when you say digital banking, though, I'm thinking of much more modern things like, again, Venmo, even PayPal, although now we're, but a little bit more like...
Venmo's owned by PayPal, incidentally.
Well, I know.
So you are using PayPal. Yeah, no, I think you want to use what the most people are using, right? Because if you're using Venmo, everybody has to use it if you want to pay them and you want them to pay you. You use the Cash App, and you find that most of the people you work...
Yeah, most of my circle uses Cash App, and then they use, and then they use Venmo. But I like Cash App because I was able to get a debit card to use. And
that's nice.
If I want to do shopping online, I usually pay with that particular burner card. I got a bunch of burner cards, and Cash App actually offers one.
One of the reasons there is this churn of all this stuff that people are really interested is that back in 2007, Vodafone created an electronic banking system called M-Pesa in Africa. And M-Pesa was a huge success. Now, this was in an area where people had smartphones, but they didn't tend to have bank accounts. Or
broadband.
So it took off because suddenly they could do all this banking stuff they could never do before. So, and M-Pesa was such a success, it spawned some follow-ons in other areas. And I think that we've been and as is often the case when you have existing infrastructure, you're slower to adopt the latest, greatest stuff. But now you're starting to see, I think, a lot of institutions, and it makes sense that Apple and Google would be in this too, trying to create these kinds of payment systems. But if there's this many and they don't talk to one another, it's like the early days of email where you could email people at MCI, but not on AOL. We need to federate these somehow.
And I tried to put my credit card on.
Is good.
Go ahead, Mr. Jarvis.
No, I was trying to put my credit card onto Google Pay, and I never got the confirmation number from my bank, and I couldn't do it. And there was no help, there was no nothing.
Some banks don't support it.
Oh, I will see. I see that, and I will raise you the fact that I called when I tried to put my credit card into Google Pay. It was like, oh, this is weird. We're going to have you call your bank. And I was like, all right, I'll call my bank. My bank was like, we have no idea what's happening. They were like, okay, I spent 2 hours, 3 different people. And the end result was, call us back tomorrow because this really should work. And we don't know why it's not. And I never called back. So
yeah,
I don't know if
people confidence
are enough to help you.
Very interesting. So Google, but you nailed it.
And that was a Citibank card, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
You nailed it, Ant, when you said Google's done this before and pulled out. They actually did it before Apple did Apple Pay.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Who's going to trust them?
I remember it was so long ago. I remember still having the Logitech Review Google TV at the time. That's how old it was.
Oh, that was the one with the keyboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a piece of crap.
Memories.
So,
can we talk about Google Photos? Are we done with this story?
yes, we're done with this story. That is the Google Changelog. No. So Google has pissed off a lot of people by announcing we are not going to continue to make Google Photos for free. You have until June of next year. Anything you put up there now or all the way up until June will continue to be stored on Google Photos free forever. But after that, when you upload stuff, it will be charged against your Google Drive or Google One account. So you'll have to you get 15 gigs free, but if it's more than that, you'll be paying for it. It's not expensive, $1.99 for 100 gigabytes. I pay $10 a month for my Google One account. That's 2 terabytes of storage. So, that's so I could store original photos. You've always had to pay for that unless you had a Pixel phone. 10 Willa Ramos says, Google Photos just made the case for breaking up big tech. That seems a little bit of an overreaction. Anybody want to?
And that was my reaction, it was overreaction. And then I read it, and there was a point there about having killed other photo apps that could be an opening today that aren't there because you couldn't compete with free Google.
Right.
It even...
Right. And so I'm seeing this play out in the IoT space, which I'm glad that Will brought this up, because talking to executives who have smart products for the home, they talk about their cloud costs, which is a huge component of, not a huge, it is an ongoing, though, commitment on every product they sell. But Google and Amazon can subsidize those costs. So they don't have the same pressures to come up with a subscription plan or to charge higher prices up front on their connected device products. And so I'm with them on this. I'm like, there's something to be said for it's like the heroin model, right? You get people hooked, and then...
Let me argue the other way. Because it wasn't, in fact, Google and Amazon that put them out of business. It just does. This was never a viable business unless you could subsidize it with other stuff.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I'll give you an example. So I used a lot of these services. I used Everpix. I bought a device. There was a physical direct device. They all went out of business. But one of them, Picture Life, was using AWS to store it. Its costs were, in the first year, more than $1 million to store these photos. It reminds me of the ice cream store down the street. Guy rented a place, started an ice cream store. What he didn't count on was the huge expense of keeping the ice cream cold. And he went out of business as soon as summer hit because he couldn't afford the freezers. And you have to consider when you start a business like this that there is a significant run rate for storage. YouTube doesn't make any sense if you're not Google, right? I mean, I know
everybody thought it was insane and only Google could buy it. That was the opposite, right? They could only make YouTube if it got bought by Google,
right?
But on the other hand, another way to look at this is, what is the revenue going to be from this when they get the photo? It's going to be de minimis, and they're going to have pissed off people and affected the brand and given antitrust people something else to complain about. Is this really going to be worth it in the end? It's going to be tiny revenue, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Although, how much does it cost for them to do Google Photos? I think, in the early days, the benefit was, we assumed, was the AI training that they were getting.
The learning set, right. Mm-hmm. But they can't keep doing that like they did that with one of their phone services early
411, Google 411.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to give you a service until we learn enough, and then
but they said
that. We're going to charge
they actually said that up front with Google 411.
That's true. But
it was still irritating. Why is it a problem for Google to say, you know what, we need to drop this free service because we want to make money off of it?
Well, we can't afford not to. I mean,
because
what's wrong with that?
I think one, you're going to piss off customers.
To say, you know what, we can add one more line on the accounting side of things and have some more money coming in. So why not do it?
So it is Will's argument is that that's classic monopolistic behavior. That's what Amazon is doing to bookstores. You undercut all the brick and mortar stores till they go out of business, and then you raise the prices. That Google undercut all the photo storage companies till they went out of business, and they raised the prices. My only counter to that is, I don't know if they had a viable business with or without Google competing.
It depends on. I mean, the question isn't I mean, if you look at it that way, think of it like dumping, right? Does it cost?
It's like dumping, right?
But is it dumping is wrong because they're selling it at less than it costs them, right? So if Google is selling this for less than it costs them, then it is driving people out of the market, and it is kind of dumping.
Well, pretty much every free service that we
not
use,
necessarily like. Well, yeah, because it's your ad. I mean, we're talking about how to get away from that and pay for that. And Kevin is actually
pay for maps.
Is Facebook doing that? Is Facebook dumping?
No, Facebook created something new that didn't exist. Google
That's not
Maps
true.
and Waze.
Friendster and MySpace existed before Facebook existed, but they incidentally were free as well.
Well, they're free as well. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, and to your question, I think it's a cost benefit analysis. So we make N amount of revenue. Is it worth it for Google given one, animosity from customers, the public, or we say they're stuck with us, to heck with them. And then two, the bigger issue to me is I would think the policy people, do you want to do this right now in the middle of this antitrust stuff? Really?
Yeah.
Really? Can't you wait a few months, a year maybe?
Yeah, it does make that. It's a harder argument.
Do you think the stakeholders or shareholders care about antitrust? They care about that bottom line.
They should care about antitrust because the bottom line gets affected if they get broken up. Actually, maybe not.
Well, there's another argument.
Maybe not.
No,
They get 5 stocks.
They get their cash and run. They care less once the lawsuit comes in. But right now, they want to see their money go up. It's greed.
There's an argument that says that a breakup will be good for the stakeholders. They'll end up with, more than the sum of the parts.
5 stocks that are worth more than the single stock.
Harder company to run, and it loses
synergies,
benefits to the consumers.
Synergies.
It loses benefits to us.
Yeah.
Synergies.
Too. Well, you lose the synergies. It's the synergy that makes Google Photos viable as a free service, as it has been for 10 years, because Google gets other benefits, just like Android's essentially free, because Google makes money on the advertising. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really, I don't know what the legal arguments are. It may be we need an antitrust lawyer could say, well, that doesn't let you off the hook, or that does let you off the hook, because none of these companies were really viable.
In antitrust anyway.
Right. None of these companies were really viable because they didn't have that synergy. They just never made sense for Everpix.
It's a good argument. You make a good, but you calm me down, Elliot.
And then the other thing is, isn't this for, if you use a Pixel, none of this applies to you, right? You take those photos and send
they
them
changed that plan though, right?
Yeah, until sometime in 2021, I thought, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay, so
initially when you bought a Pixel up to the Pixel 3, up through the Pixel 3, you had unlimited original photo storage.
Correct.
Okay.
Everybody had unlimited JPEG storage. You had unlimited original photo storage. I don't know what is the promise for Pixel 4 and 5? Is it still that? No, they dropped that.
No, I thought it was still just a JPEG high res version.
But everybody has that.
Yeah.
That's like the Aaron Rodgers discount. Everybody gets it. See, I knew you'd get it, Ann. These guys don't watch football, but I knew you'd get it.
But I looked at this no differently from the likes of, say, YouTube and Hulu. Both have their TV services, and YouTube comes out and say, "Hey, our rate is going to be $10 a month or whatever."
Oh wait, no,
Hulu
this
comes
is
around and says, "You know what? We're going to do $8 a month," and then 6 months later, the rate goes up for both of those entities because they can do it.
So Google confirmed Pixel 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 would all retain free Google Photos storage forever going forward, forever until they change it.
right.
I thought they said until sometime in 2021.
This is in
No,
part.
that's for people who are not Pixel owners.
Yeah, that
So
in June
Pixel
2021,
owners-
everybody else is losing the free.
I
In
misread
part
it.
because some of these devices have lifetime guarantees for free storage, which is used in marketing the device, so they can't really
they're stuck with it.
back up. If you have a Pixel 5 device or earlier, your current backup quality options and benefits remain unchanged. Uploads in high quality from your Pixels 2 through 5 devices will continue to receive unlimited free storage. Photos and videos backed up from other devices in high quality after June 1st, 2021 will start to count toward your Google account storage. Is that so? That's
So that
to
actually
clarify.
could tie into the antitrust stuff, because basically they're penalizing anybody who doesn't buy their hardware.
Yeah, you're right, Stacey. But they probably are actually cursing that they did make that promise, so it's actually against them. That's
and can a company not offer a benefit to buyers of their product? With that,
yes,
I mean, that's not an antitrust
yes.
issue. They can offer that benefit. Look, you bought our product. We're going to give you. This is part of what you get when you buy our product.
Yes, it's not antitrust. It does get into that Apple-y lock-in feeling, though, that I so loathe.
But feelings, as I've said so many times, are not illegal.
At either rate, don't depend on Google Photos for your.
I think that we've talked about this many times. You know, the Google Death Watch and all. Google continually harms their reputation long term, and it makes it. I would imagine, you know, we just had 2 stories in a row. One, the Nest outage, and then this story that make people think maybe I shouldn't invest in a Google ecosystem product.
Oh, and actually, you could say Google Pay is similar because they had a watch or they had a credit card that apparently died that Ant's still toting around to this day.
Yep. Yep. So. I mean,
so don't trust Google.
Yeah, I don't. Do you think? I mean, certainly somebody at Google is responsible for thinking about things like that, or maybe not.
It is convenient to have the full resolution of my, particularly the videos that I would film with the phone. Right. Just go up and be stored. But
oh God, are you kidding?
I have a system in place. When I get back to the desk, they're coming down.
Well, as I can't wait. Is it Chris Marquardt, one of my contributors on the Tech Guy, said, "Oh, gee, now you have to buy a hard drive, like a normal person backing up their data." You know, it was the premise was, oh, you don't have to buy a hard drive. We'll back it up for you forever, but that really wasn't tenable. And
let me go find my zip drives.
So you have to back up your data. You still have to do it for every other kind of data. Why should photos be something special? And on the other hand, if you have Amazon Prime, you have unlimited original storage on Amazon Prime. Shutterfly, which is, this is another example. See, here's a perfect example. Free photo storage with Shutterfly. How can they make that work? Because they do prints and calendars and mouse pads out of your photos. So they figure, well, if you store your photos here, it's a lot more likely that you will order stuff from us, and that will pay for the storage. I mean, storage is cheap.
Nobody bought those Google calendars, though.
Yeah, I just got 2 Shutterfly calendars.
I made a scrapbook.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kevin has piped in to say if we have to pay for Google Photos as a service, then they shouldn't get to use or keep the data, which is his 2 cents.
I agree.
Just like with G Suite. Oh, don't bring up G Suite, Kevin.
But
no, don't bring it up.
But that's right. But that would be starting June 1st and going forward. I have 60,000 plus photos stored on there, which are still going to be there, and that's still for free. So in that case, they can use that data, right? So Kevin's point is really that from June 1st forward, anything you store on Google Photos should not be used to gather, to do machine language training or machine training. But I think that they said that they weren't going to do that, in fact. I do believe I read that somewhere, that they were going to, maybe I'm mistaken.
Well, and they do learning on your own photos too. So like one of the services they offer is I can type in my name and I get pictures of me, which is actually pretty cool.
I'm going to still use Google Photos for that reason alone. The automatic categorization is really, really useful, and it's very effective, very good. So, Kevin, we do get something for that. That's kind of the traditional Google tit for tat. We'll beef up our services based on your data, but in return, we'll give you those services for free. I think that's a fair trade, and now it's more explicit. Google is potentially being sued. I don't even know what to make of this one. They're trying to get a class action together. A suit filed in a federal court in San Jose because apparently Google Android phones mysteriously, even when they're not on Wi-Fi, without any applications running, will upload about 8 or 9 megabytes a day of data to Google. And the lawsuit says you're basically costing us money on our cell data because we're not getting any benefit. This is just stuff being uploaded to Google. I haven't seen a response from Google on this yet.
I don't know what it could be.
Well, yeah, why is Google doing
specified
this?
what was being transmitted in that article.
Well, they did have a bunch of stories, and I didn't read them because I get value out of them, but how to turn off the smart features in Gmail so they're not using quite so much data. Some of it may be something as simple as, just trying to preload things so they load faster, for example, or pre-download stuff.
The attorneys for the plaintiffs took a brand new Galaxy S7 with Android, signed into a Google account with its default settings, and then let it sit without a Wi-Fi connection. And they found that 94% of the communications, about 9 megabytes a day of data, were sent or were between Google back and forth. They didn't say whether uploaded or downloaded. It sounds like, the device with all apps closed transferred data to Google about 16 times an hour.
Oh, okay. And it's saying that a lot of this is log files for network availability, the apps, and OS metrics. This is nothing essential.
To be continued.
And I'm going to guess, I haven't read, I doubt anybody has this agreements you agree to when you start using a Google phone. But I'm going to guess somewhere in there it says you agree to provide us with information to help us improve our services or something like that.
I read a terms of service here recently, but it wasn't Google's. It was Instagram's.
Yeah, well, I know why, because you're a photographer. But there's many pages you have to read in the terms of service, the privacy policy, the managed Google Play agreement, and the Google Play terms of service. According to the attorneys did read them. They said none of them disclose that Google spends users' cellular data allowances for these background transfers.
Well, and this might just be not stupidity, but this might be a lack of understanding about how some people really monitor their data plans.
Right.
So if you're Google and you're an engineer thinking about this, you're probably not thinking, hey, we should only transfer this data over Wi-Fi when people are on that network because it's expensive. Because they're maybe not thinking about data in dribs and drabs.
I think that's exactly right. Yep. Hey, let's take a little break. We got lots more to talk about. See, it's been all Google all the time.
See, yeah, and boy, that pay story was not changelog worthy.
I guess it wasn't because there were a lot of ins and outs.
Yes.
So yes, I guess so.
Maybe not as many as we made it out to have from the beginning, but yes.
True.
Our confusion.
It was not scintillating. I'll agree with that. I'll agree.
We'll have more with Stacey, Ant, and Jeff in just a second. Our show today brought to you by ESET. For over 30 years, ESET, E-S-E-T, has been a global leader in cybersecurity. It's the provider we rely on here at TWiT. Yes, I didn't even know we were using ESET, but that's one of the beauties of ESET. It's so lightweight. It's so transparent. You won't know you're running it. Our managed service provider, our IT guy, Russell, puts it on all the machines, even the machines that need every CPU cycle possible, every ounce of RAM possible, like our editor's machines. Because, of course, as a small business, the last thing we need is ransomware. We need enterprise-grade security, but we can't afford to have it slow us down. That's why we love ESET. And ESET can block everything, even 0 days, because they use something called the Dynamic Threat Defense. This is so smart. It's another layer of security for ESET products like endpoint and mail security, a cloud-based sandboxing technology to detect and stop never-before-seen threats. This is always kind of the Achilles heel of antivirus products, is if they don't know about a virus, they can't stop it. Well, not with ESET and their dynamic threat defense. When you get an attachment in your email or a suspicious program downloaded, it says, whoa, hold on, takes it, puts it up in the cloud in a sandboxed box, I guess I would say, and runs it. It executes it and analyzes it. And then if it's malicious, it stops it cold, all before it reaches you or your network. Dynamic threat defense. It's just one more reason to use the layered security that ESET offers in a lightweight package. And Russell loves it because of the ESET Security Management Center, which gives him a real-time overview of every endpoint on or off-prem. We've got a lot of work-from-home employees now. But they all are protected by ESET, even off-site. There's full reporting, automated security management for all operating systems, and Russell can access it whenever he is online. He gets around. In fact, that's one of the nice things. ESET, you can get it on-prem or in the cloud. You can buy it directly from ESET. You can do as we do, get it through your managed service provider. There's an ESET reseller program too. Just find the option that works for you and protect yourself. We've been using this, it turns out, I didn't even know, for years, trusted by thousands of state and local governments, top universities, and enterprises worldwide. And if you have compliance requirements in your industry, don't worry. ESET meets those requirements. Whether you take credit cards with PCI, handle customer financial transactions, GLBA, or if you're processing healthcare data, it's HIPAA compliant too. Your employees are your first line of defense, so if you have a remote workforce, check out ESET's Remote Workforce Bundle for advanced ransomware and business data protection, along with other bundles that ESET offers. Protect your employees no matter where you or they are. They get top reviews from independent testing labs for minimum system impact and extremely accurate detection. They're perfect for our small business. I bet they're perfect for yours too. ESET really understands the needs and concerns of SMBs, so trust ESET to future-proof your business. There's an interactive demo waiting for you and a free trial when you go to try.eset.com/twit. try.eset.com/TWIT to get your free trial and an interactive demo. Thank you, ESET, for protecting us all this time. And I didn't even know it. Try.eset.com/twit. Let's see here. The next G is here. You thought 5G was cool. Well, you see next G. And Google and Apple, among many others, are joining the Next G Alliance. Stacey, tell us all about 6G.
Hey.
Silence.
Stacey wants a cookie.
Stacey says, I don't want to talk about this.
6G.
6G.
I saw this and I said, not yet.
I will not read about this.
No. Well, because this is not the Wi-Fi 6G. This is actually the cellular 6G,
yes.
Correct?
And
so
the bandwidth not yet licensed. It will not be around until 2030. So don't worry about it.
So I mean, it's the time for it's the time for engineers to start thinking about this. You do start thinking about your next G about 10 years before it's due. You really do. Yeah. Because all these guys, and what's notable here, this also happened with 5G, but it was, the rest of the world was late, but this is no longer just a cellular thing. They used to be the 3GPP was all the cellular carriers, and they got together and they were like, woo. Like I was writing about 4G and seeing demos and tests of that,
2005.
Probably 4 or 5 years before it even made it into phones, right? So there's a lot of work that needs to happen, and every G gets even more complicated in terms of, like 5G is incredibly complicated because of the multiple antennas, that it can go across different spectrum bands. So it makes sense that we're talking about this now, but for most normal people, don't even worry about it. The engineers are meeting.
Yeah. In fact, the first meeting's this week. But listen to who's in it. I mean, you're right. It's not just cellular carriers. Charter Communications, Cisco, HP, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Intel, Keysight, LG Electronics, VMware, AT&T Bell Canada, Ciena, Ericsson, Facebook. Microsoft, Nokia, Qualcomm, Samsung, T-Mobile. So it's all the carriers plus. It's the hardware manufacturers.
G to the N.
Yeah. And we got a plan because the world does not stand still.
Right. And
who's going to need these high definition TVs? Was that what you were saying, Leo?
I said no one will ever want to have a TV that's more than 400 lines. That's crazy talk.
I talked to some people at Cable Labs about the next gen TV, and it's actually kind of cool.
Is it 8K?
No, it's a different filming technique.
Oh.
For a more immersive experience.
Oh, it's high frame rate, high dynamic range. Yeah.
Yes, all of that.
And I don't like it. I don't like
I'm
it.
like,
Most
how
people
many
don't like high
GBs
frame
will that
rates,
be?
No.
And it's a lot.
Remember when they did the what did they? So there was a movie. Ang Lee did a movie called Billy Swan's Long Halftime Walk. Did you ever watch that movie?
Wasn't Lord of the Rings in 60p?
I think you're right. Lord of the Rings was. In fact, people were saying Gandalf's wand, when it's 60 frames a second, looks like it's made out of resin and was purchased at Wands R Us. It looks because when they filmed it, it was 24 frames and it was a little smeary and it looked real. But at 60 frames, man, you can see every hair as it's glued onto his face. It's not Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. If you ever want to see what hyper-realistic filmmaking is, I promise you, you can't really see it on a regular TV. But it was high frame rate, high dynamic range. Ang Lee didn't let his actors wear makeup. He shot them very tight. And it's like the actors in the room, and it's really creepy. It's super creepy. It just took you out of the movie entirely. And it really shows how much we think of a film as being 24 frames. It's a little bit dreamy. It's a little bit unreal. And if it's too real, it's not a film. It's creepy.
It's got into the next uncanny valley.
It is. It's too canny. It's like Toucan Sam. Although, when you're playing video games, you want that high frame rate, right? In fact, that's the big thing. Oculus 2, the Quest 2 is 90 frames finally to match the Vive and others, and the higher frame rate's better. But I tell you, a high frame rate in a movie.
I think I'm the only person that didn't mind it.
Did you see it though? Did you see it in the high frame rate?
Old person versus young person.
Because there's very few theaters that can show it in that frame rate.
I didn't see it. I never went to the theaters unless it was Star Wars or Black Panther.
Yeah,
but the high frame rate, like if someone's watching soap operas, it doesn't bother me. I like how crispy it looks. And
the soap opera
YouTube,
effect.
I noticed some of the people on YouTube are doing
what they don't
60p
like
on some of their videos, and it looks pretty good to me. But all of the comments are complaining about it being too real for them. But I love it myself.
So there's two problems with high frame rate. One is that some almost all TVs now will do frame interpolation to take the 30 frames and make it 120 or 240 even. And that really does have that soap opera effect. It looks very strange because they're faking it by interpolating frames. That's a negative, that's a bad effect. And Hollywood's lobbying against that. They're saying turn off frame interpolation. But then there's the natively shot at 60 or 120. And I agree with you, Ed. If it's a documentary kind of thing, if it's recording real life, that's fine. It's when it's doing a story, a movie, as in like a Hollywood story, it's disconcertingly real.
Would you not consider it like you're looking at a Broadway play or something?
Yeah, except you're right there. You're looking at a Broadway play, but you're on stage.
You're watching Hamilton in 120 frames per second.
Yeah,
I
that's
bet
true.
that looks outstanding. Not that I'm watching Hamilton, but
that's true.
Why aren't you watching Hamilton?
He doesn't like Hamilton.
I'm not a musical person. I like music, love music, but musicals never really did it for me.
Oh, Hamilton's not a musical. It's just
it is.
Okay, it's a musical, but it's the best.
I was like, it is, Leo.
It's a musical plus. It's so much better. That's like saying, I don't know, a German chocolate cake is just a cake. That's
like saying I like Popeye's chicken, but not on a sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we know who says that. That's like saying Cacio and Pepe is just spaghetti dinner. That's
yeah. Jammer B.
Yeah.
Still in trouble with me, Jammer B. Still. And they're out of it
Jammer
still.
B can mute
we're at a Cacio e Pepe crisis, I have you know.
What?
Yeah, it's not in.
They ship it from Italy.
Very disturbed.
Yeah. COVID. It's another casualty of COVID.
You want a fun little story?
Yes.
L'Oreal. Where did I put it here? Line 200.
Because you're worth it?
Because you're worth it.
No, because you are.
Because you are worth it, baby. L'Oreal. Oh, interesting.
Is introducing AR makeup, because obviously a problem with the business. I saw somebody today on Twitter say, my makeup's all going to expire before I have to use it. Then another friend said, no, I gotta do it in Zoom meetings. And then I see L'Oreal announces the first digital makeup line. It's purely
for online.
It's purely AR.
Oh, it's AR. It's a Snapchat filter.
Working on this, right?
It's a Snapchat filter.
It is, but L'Oreal's making a business out of it, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh,
are people really so? Okay.
This is the moment when even Stacey feels old.
Breathe.
No.
Stacey,
Are people
breathe.
like? I'm not breathing. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, would I pay for this? I mean, I spend crazy amounts. You wouldn't know it to look at me, but I have quite the makeup drawer. And every now and then I will go crazy with fun, like Euphoria-esque makeup and my wigs. But I'm just trying to think if people, like, if the effect is good enough on a Zoom or whatever that it's going to handle, like, I mean, fake makeup looks weird when you move. Like the filters.
Holy cow. Wait a minute. They're using it. It's SnapCam.
It's SnapCam. Yeah. Yeah, it's SnapCam.
So it's just some SnapCam filters.
That's all it is.
This is just a gimmick.
It raises interesting questions. It's a gimmick. It's all it is a gimmick. But will L'Oreal, at what Stacey's heading toward, will L'Oreal, being a makeup company, add value? I mean, listen, hey, Leo, you're a guy who buys fake hay, so let's not get too...
No, you want to know what L'Oreal's business opportunity is? I saw it at CES, and I think it's freaking baller. This was last year. Do you want to know or not?
Yeah.
It's freaking baller. You're trying to act young again. Go ahead.
If she were trying to act young, she would say it's hella baller. I'm just saying.
I think that's like acting like you're from California or Seattle. I don't know.
This is Moss, makeup as a service, says Zephyr.
This is a personalized compact that you take your picture, you get all the information about your face, and then it will there are color cartridges, and it will make the color for you so you can apply it for that day.
Ooh,
and
3D.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, it's personalized makeup. It's like the bar robots where you stick your beverages and your condiments or whatever in, and then a personalized cocktail.
You had me at bar.
Like
I think
for your skin treatments.
This is actually brilliant because if you think about it, half of the Snapchat videos, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, Facebook, half of them have Snapchat effects. I mean, all of it. Everybody does this.
I see so many smoothed out faces and stuff.
And influencers go crazy with this stuff. I think it's actually a very smart move on L'Oreal's part. It doesn't look like they're charging for it, or maybe they are, but it can't be very expensive.
Not yet.
Yeah, the idea is it works with not just SnapCam, but they have Snapchat filters, Instagram filters. They even have Google Duo filters.
Google Duo. Yeah. All three people using that.
So they put some effort into this, but they don't charge for it. But this is a brilliant brand play. I actually think this is quite smart.
And you could test out their colors on your face without actually going into a place and testing it out.
Good point.
Was that your point?
And people can say, where did you get that look? L'Oreal.
Yeah. It's smart for
really say, where do you get that look?
Where do you get that look? In that for a mainstream makeup brand, that's actually really smart. It makes them a little hipper. I mean, L'Oreal is not. I don't think you tell me, Stacey, but I wouldn't say
they're
that's
not like
they're not first tier. Yeah, yeah.
And I was at Condé Nast still when cosmetics companies were worried about online. They wouldn't go anywhere near it. They hated Sephora. They didn't want to be anywhere near Sephora. They wanted to control their experience in Bloomingdale's all on their own. And then they had to go into Sephora and found out it was actually pretty good for business. And then they avoided online like the plague. And then finally, slowly came on. So the high-end cosmetics won't do this. So this is really smart from L'Oreal, is it gets ahead.
You want to read a really interesting book. It's kind of peripherally about this. It's called Clean. It's by a physician named James Hamblin. And he talks about the history of soap. And it really is the history of cosmetics from the very beginning. It turns out that soap really didn't exist until the knackers, the slaughterhouses, realized they had this huge surplus of animal fat and animal byproducts they couldn't do anything with. And so they turned it into soap. But now they have all this soap, and they couldn't figure out what do we do. So they created, literally with marketing, this is a very early marketing success, about 150 years ago. They created a market for daily bathing, which didn't exist.
Can you imagine what the world smelled like before that?
It didn't exist. Nobody bathed. They thought it was bad for you. It created a market for it. Ivory, 99. It's
nobody.
fascinating.
People in Western Europe didn't bathe. People
Europeans
in
didn't. No,
Asia,
you're right.
Yeah.
Muslims
They
did.
thought
It was
Europeans
part of
were
it was
disgusting.
religious ritual. Jews did. It was religious.
Yeah.
But in the West, we didn't bathe. We were disgusting. But they created a market with using marketing. It's a fascinating story. The beginning of the book is all about that, and because they had a surplus product, and they created, it became $1 billion market. And actually, the cosmetics market really is a follow on to that. Later on in the book, he talks about deodorant also invented an invented need. It's really fascinating. And actually, there's some evidence, and he's a physician, so he's talking a little bit about the evidence that probably all this washing is not good for you. You're hurting the microbiome in your skin. You're damaging.
Every now and then you need some filth.
A little filth, not a bad thing.
Since you're doing the history moment,
yes,
196 is a very fun video.
The Sage, the computer with people inside. This is from archive.org. By the IBM Military Products Division. So I have to say, one of the things that Dick DiBartolo does every Saturday afternoon with his Giz Fizz, he plays these old movies, and they're so much fun.
They're so great.
Yearn to Learn, he calls it.
Sky high.
So we're watching a rocket launch.
Today we must be on guard in the sky when it comes to...
we must be on guard because the Ruskies are going to come and get us.
That's right.
So we need IBM to protect us.
the national resources that are so precious
The
to
kids
us.
could get bombed any second.
Well, this was you and me, Jeff,
Yes,
ducking
it is.
and covering under our school desks,
You bet.
preparing for the Armageddon to come.
But thank goodness IBM was there on guard.
On guard. Protecting our little children on by the way, playground equipment that these days would be considered so dangerous.
Yeah, you want to know about danger?
They
yeah.
would be banned.
Forget the Russians. Playground will kill you.
So many broken arms.
Oh my God. There is a picture of one of the very first jungle gyms installed because people were worried that kids weren't getting enough fresh air and getting outside. And kids were climbing like literally 20 or 30 feet up on these things and swinging from them.
Over rocks on the ground.
With nothing. Let me see if I can
Being
find
kids.
that. Being kids. And you know what? We liked it.
My fear of heights began then.
Here's a picture. This is
do it.
In 1900. This was built. This was on schoolyards.
Oh my Lord, my palms were sweating.
These kids. Look at this kid in the middle, just kind of sitting there, just hanging up upside down. The early days of school playground equipment.
Oh my Lord.
Did you hear YouTube changed their terms of service?
Yeah. YouTube has changed their terms of service. Breaking news, Aunt Pruitt has the story.
Well, they updated their terms of services regarding the ads that are going to run on some people's accounts that aren't necessarily in the YouTube partner program.
Oh, like if I put ads in like this, like we do, what are they going to do? It's going to run ads, but not give you money.
Twig, you'll be able to get some of the revenue share, the whole 3 or 4 cents that they give you.
Yeah.
But if you're someone that doesn't qualify, YouTube has said we may put ads on your videos,
but you won't get revenue.
You're not going to get any of that money, but we're going to put ads on your videos from time to time.
I love it. They are killing the Google or the YouTube Rewind this year, and probably for every year from now on. That is.
Oh, Rewind, was that the things that happened on?
Yeah.
All
YouTube?
the wonderful things that happened.
Yeah. The most hated video on YouTube, it was the 2018 Rewind.
Yeah, it was. I didn't understand why they didn't stop back then. It just didn't move the needle the right way.
Yeah. But it was a way that of YouTube. Let me see what the 18 million thumbs down on this. Of course, it has 208 million views. That's the Fresh Prince about.
It's Rewind time. If I control Rewind, I would want Fortnite and Marquez Brownlee.
This is some might say the jump the shark moment.
Is this what you wanted?
Yeah, for real.
You know who I would have asked for?
So these are all YouTube celebs. And there's Ninja.
Maybe some of that jumping music.
Driving the bus, the Fortnite
You said
bus.
jumping music?
Jumpin' music.
Now they have to jump out of the bus because it's Fortnite. Get it?
Yeah, this is triggering me too.
Yeah. You don't have to watch it. This is what kids did in the 21st century before we had playground safety. They would jump out of buses.
Jumping out of a bus.
But this was YouTube. I think this was their idea to, kind of reward the most important voices on YouTube. But then PewDiePie wasn't in it, and people got all upset, and they downvoted
How you
it.
figure this would be rewarding to those big creators?
Wider audience.
Yeah, and it's
chance
also an
to-
honor.
But isn't the algorithm already doing that? Pushing?
No. But
pushing their
you don't
videos?
understand that because you have no ego. It's an honor.
So true.
It's an honor to be in the video like you're one of the top creators, and people watch it and go, "Oh, I saw Justine in there. She's one of the best." No, I think that was a big deal, but the backlash has been pretty. Even Marquez kind of wasn't too happy about the Rewind.
Yeah, he looked thrilled.
Yeah. So Rewind's gone for this year because YouTube says it was a bad year, and we didn't think we wanted.
It wasn't. I mean, they're not wrong.
We don't want to
Did you
relive
see the
it.
Rockefeller Christmas tree?
What? No. What did I miss
Somebody
something?
said, my mom would have said, "Leave it in the corner; it'll be fine."
Wait a minute. What?
You gotta look at
Wait
it.
a minute. This is the Rockefeller. Oh my God! That's the best they could do. It's like Charlie
apparently-
Brown's Christmas tree.
It was okay when they cut it down, but by the time
It's
it got here,
really-
and they also apparently rescued an owl from it, which is nice, and they're rehabilitating the owl. But
It's so ratty. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Wow. They're going to have to.
To me is like 2020 right there.
That's that's what they say. The internet is trolling the Rockefeller Christmas tree for being so 2020. Oh my gosh!
Unbelievable.
Well, once they put the 5 miles of lights on it and the L'Oreal Snapchat filters, I think you won't notice a difference.
Oh, now that's something like a tree filler filter. That could be kind of a virtual or virtual ornaments where you could have it like you could do like a Winter Wonderland theme or like a country Christmas theme or I don't know. That'd be kind of fun.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I missed that meme. I hate it when
What?
I miss meme. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree.
Oh, the Rockefeller Center.
Yeah,
Okay, I was like,
I missed
is that. A
that.
meme yet? Sure.
That wasn't in our rundown. Thank you for bringing that up.
It's very important. Highly Google.
Karsten, you failed.
Well, maybe it is. No, I shouldn't say it wasn't in a rundown. It probably is. Karsten's pasting it in real quickly.
Sorry, Karsten.
No, I'm sure it's in there.
You got dimed, Karsten.
Yeah.
Stick it in there fast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was a line on 476. You just didn't see it.
There are a lot of lines in here.
There are
Holy
a lot.
cow.
Like I kind of looked at this and I was like, oh, I don't even know which ones I care about.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, there's Zoom. What's wrong with the Christmas promote? There is Zoom Santa.
Oh, and Zoom's taking. Oh, you should tell everybody that Zoom is going to let people like talk if you don't have a Zoom account for more than 40 minutes over Thanksgiving. And I would be curious because next week is Thanksgiving and we've all got a plan. Not how are you handling this, but what is your Zoom/virtual attendance strategy for Thanksgiving?
Oy.
Because I don't think I want to, like, I know I don't want to eat virtually at the table with, like, I don't want us all trying to be eating at the same time.
That does not sound fun.
No.
We haven't
But
really
then what
figured it out yet.
I was really hoping I could get like creative ideas, anything.
So
Help
I
me
saw,
chat.
and I don't know if this is true, I saw a stat that said 38% of all Americans still plan to go travel to Thanksgiving gatherings of more than 10 people.
Well, that's just
Dandy.
silly.
And I also
That's
saw
not gonna help.
shortly after that, somebody said your Zoom Thanksgiving is going to turn into something horrible. I can't even say it because it's so depressing. Something like your Christmas funeral. Enjoy your COVID Thanksgivings and then your Christmas funerals. So we were going to do that. We were going to have family. We went through a bunch of strategy ideas. We were going to get tables outside, but it's cold, of course, and it's rainy, and that wouldn't be good. So then we said, all right, what if everybody gets a test? But then the problem is not everybody was willing to get a test. If they did, they would have to quarantine from the time before, a few days before they got the test to the meal.
Yeah, because even if you just got exposed, it's not going to show up in the test for 5 to 9 days.
So you got to quarantine for a week before the test, get the test, and then not do anything.
Sounds feasible.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Just for some damn turkey.
Yeah. So
I don't even like turkey.
We basically
It's not the turkey; it's your family. But yes.
But the worst, it's doubly difficult because it's also Michael's 18th birthday on Thursday.
Oh my!
So that's a big deal, right? Your 18th birthday.
Yes, that's huge.
Everybody wanted to gather to celebrate that, but Lisa and I just decided no, it's going to be the three of us, and just because of COVID, and we said, Michael, you're 19th. We're going to make it a really great birthday, but we just can't do it this year. He understands, but it's still hard. Yeah. And then, and I have on order like a 20-pound turkey and an 18-pound ham. So I think we're going to freeze the ham for 3 people.
And a cat.
I think that's what Dorothy Parker said. Eternity is a ham and 2 people. We're going to freeze. We're going to freeze the ham. We're going to make the turkey, and then I think we're going to drive around to people who are local and deliver, turkey care packages, I guess. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Aunt, you could sign in for turkey.
What are you doing, Aunt, for Thanksgiving? Anything?
Not doing a thing. Hopefully I'm watching television and we're just hanging out. Thanksgiving for us, I know this is going to sound weird, but where I come from, Thanksgiving dinner was pretty much like going to grandma's for Sunday dinner. It was hardly any differentiation other than a turkey, if that. So it never really changed for us. And even when I stopped, going down to my mom's for Thanksgiving or whatever, it was just, just another meal. And we just sort of hung out and relaxed for a day and a half.
I think in America that did do that had Sunday dinner with all the family, Thanksgiving isn't as important, but it's assumed a lot of importance in the modern America where we're all a diaspora and nobody gets together, and it's the one time of the year everybody gets a chance to get together.
Yeah, I can remember being young and some of the classmates would just be all excited about their dinner for Thanksgiving, and they would tell me what they're having and this and that, and I'm just having a mental checklist going, we had that Sunday, we had that Sunday, we also had that. And just, it's like, so every Sunday dinner at my grandmother's or my great aunt's home was like Thanksgiving for most people.
But see, that's a testament more to you and your great family and what you did on Sunday. How big were those Sunday dinners?
Oh, dude. It would be probably 20 people in and out coming in to eat.
See? That's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And you had it every week. I'm so jealous. That's so wonderful.
I am not. Good God, that sounds like a lot of work.
Or if you're Italian in New Jersey.
Yeah, Sunday gravy.
That's what people do.
Yeah, make the Sunday gravy. Yeah. I kind of wish I had
with the wife, not the mistress.
Yeah. You keep your what is it? The not Goomba.
The what?
There's a
Let's not offend.
there's an in
don't
the
know,
Sopranos. The Goomba, right? I think it was their Goomba. Anyway.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a Sopranos thing.
Yeah,
it's
it's a Sopranos thing.
Gabagool or something.
Gabagool is also very good. You should have Gabagool, but not your Goomba at your Thanksgiving. I'm just saying. Very important to make the distinction.
And don't forget the cannoli.
And don't forget, leave the gun, take the cannoli.
I'll call my mother and check on her, but that'll be about it. I don't. We don't really just do a whole lot of reaching out or anything like that.
What about you, Jeff? Are you planning? You're not planning a big event.
We're debating still. I mean, son Jake is in Boston with his girlfriend, and they are quarantined. But as of now, they're coming down and staying a week. Quarantined down here. I don't know.
That's so risky.
I know. We haven't seen him in ages, but yep.
Yeah. So what do you think, Stacey? What are you going to do?
Oh, ours is, well, I was going to suggest either appetizers or kind of Zoom happy hour after.
That's not bad.
The dinner.
It's easier to drink than eat on Zoom.
Right, and it's a smaller amount of time. Plus, I was trying to figure out the logistics of getting my stuff on the table when they were getting there. Like, there's 4 families that are trying to.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was just like,
challenging.
That is not going to happen. Well, most 2 chunks of family are in Austin, one's in San Antonio, and then we're up here. And that's just my husband's family. My family's small, and my parents haven't celebrated Thanksgiving since they only celebrate when we come. Although my mom's so sad. I'm half worried that she's going to show up at my door, and then what do I do? But
I sent my mom, and she got it yesterday, unfortunately, a little Harrington's ham with some Vermont cheddar, some bacon, a whole little care package that she could nibble on and nosh on. And then we're going to Zoom her. But but this is just one of many, sacrifices. Some of us losing loved ones. There'll be, as they say, an empty seat at that Thanksgiving table because of COVID. So
it's awful.
Thank goodness, knock on wood, we haven't lost anybody.
Maybe you need Clint Watts' Zoom room, line 214. I just saw this.
Actually, can I just show you the best Zoom room ever? This was our guest on Floss Weekly.
Oh, man.
This guy.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
What a beautiful Zoom room. This was patient. They were talking about patient privacy and so forth. I don't know who this guy. What was his name? Do you remember?
This is Floss Weekly, associated with the patient's
last name.
This is a Zoom room, man, and a Zoom beard. Jeff, I think we found somebody even better.
Somebody to beat me. Oh no!
Somebody look at Jeff. Now look at Alan or Adrian Groper, the HIEof1.com. Look at that Zoom room. Wow, huh? That is a Zoom room, like a cathedral ceiling, and man, he needs stained glass behind him. But if that's the only thing wrong.
He sat down and everybody pre-show was like, "Whoa,
that is."
Is that a record player? No, it's an IBM typewriter on the left.
Back here, it's a Selectric. Yeah. Look at that. You caught that right away. Look at that. Wow. All right. What line again? Line.
Well, you got 2. You can see Zoom Santa on 210, or you can see Clint Watts' Zoom room on 214.
I like this new line thing. We're doing this from now on.
Because you're getting old, you can't find the stuff quick enough.
Let's go to Clint Watts' killer Zoom room.
I just saw this.
Just when I think I got my work from home setup optimized, Selected Wisdom has to go on TV and show it off. Oh my God! How many monitors? 1, 2, 3, 4. He must be a day trader.
No, he monitors disinformation. He's former FBI.
That's awesome.
That's just overachieving.
Isn't that amazing? Huh?
And I bet somewhere it's a television.
Okay, but I am going to point out.
Goes on the upper left. Your Uncle Ned goes on the lower right because they don't get along very well.
You could really do a Zoom Christmas on that. But look, I got to point out, he's using an Apple Airport Extreme router over here. Definitely deduct points for that. That thing is not only out of date, not made anymore, but probably a security flaw just waiting to happen. Maybe not. Maybe he knows. Maybe Clinton knows something I don't know.
He's a security guy.
Maybe. Guy. Maybe. Well,
meanwhile, Zoom Santa is going to, I got to do this. They want to charge, I think it's $30 for a pre-recorded Santa, $50 to talk to Santa live on Zoom.
Oh, please. And you don't even get to sit in his lap?
No.
Not everybody wants to sit in his lap.
That dude gets enough money.
Yeah. Scared.
Oh, wow. Yeah, who doesn't have pictures of terrorized children sitting in Santa's lap, right? Screaming their lungs out. Now, the good news...
Those kids were adorable, though.
The kids are adorable.
Yes, they are.
The good news is we might even have a vaccine. We might have Thanksgiving next year. There's not one, but two excellent candidates from Moderna and Pfizer. But the best part of the Moderna story is that Dolly Parton donated $1 million to the development of the Moderna vaccine, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, good on her.
Gretchen McCullough wrote some lyrics, rewrote the lyrics of Dolly Parton's famous Jolene song. And then it turns out one of our viewers, Ryan Cordell, set it to music and sang it.
Because I tweeted this. I said, this is just perfect. Yeah.
And Micah Sargent pointed out, and Micah and I sing along with Ryan, his version.
So remember, Dolly Parton donates $1 million, and this is what the internet comes up with.
Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Begging of you, please go in my arms.
Sang it.
Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Please,
I wish I had a tambourine.
Safe from COVID harm.
That was awesome, Ryan Cordell. So that was Micah Sargent and I singing along.
I loved this because it is what collaboration on the internet was, right? Somebody suggested that this ought to happen. Then she wrote the lyrics. Then he sang it. And then people spread it around. This is the new collaboration on the net. It's a beautiful
Actually, that's a good point, beautiful thing, isn't it? And we all I think we really enjoyed it. And I think it was, heavily retweeted. Actually, when I saw it, it hadn't been retweeted much. So I said, I got to spread this around a little bit more.
I saw it before it was retweeted 1,000 times.
I'm
so hip.
You're so hip. Shall I play the whole thing? Because I think everybody.
No, we should do an ad because I have to leave in 45 minutes.
Oh, my God. You're right. Sorry, Ryan.
I'm sorry.
Your chance at internet fame is over. Is over.
Well, now Dolly has to cover her own cover.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear Dolly doing
perfect if Dolly does it.
Yeah. Isn't that
Maybe
great,
a Zoom
though?
Duet.
She's turned out to be like this internet saint.
She is.
God bless her.
We need
Maybe
Dolly to run the
she's
world.
just a good person, and sometimes
She
the
is.
internet rewards that.
Oh, man. Our show today brought you by Our show today brought to you by Linode. I am such a Linode fan. I've been a Linode fan for years and years and years. Linode was famous, I don't know how long ago. One of the very first places you could go to set up a server fast and easy running Linux on solid state drives. They were really early on the solid state drive. And man, it is the best way to set up a cloud infrastructure for anybody who wants to host a website or build an app, store or backup media, launch or enrich developer applications, hosted services, websites, AI and machine learning workloads. Yes, they have those too. They've got gaming services, CI/CD environments. I use it myself just as a hobbyist because when I want to create a web-based app, it's so easy to spin up a Linode instance, to get it running. It's so affordable, and you can launch and scale with their virtual machines. Start small. You get busy, you get successful, you get big, you can grow with it easily. Flat pricing, across 11 global data centers everywhere in the world. That's why 800,000 developers use Linode. They have an intuitive cloud manager, full-featured API, and the best. And I give them such credit for this because they're geeks. They love geeks. They know you. They understand what you're up to, and they have the best customer support. They're there 24/7 every single day of the year. And it's the kind of customer support you really want with knowledgeable people. They're not reading it out of a notebook. They can really help, and they won't pass you off. Nothing. No matter what size plan you have, you're going to get the best support you've ever experienced. Linode also has a great YouTube channel. So if you want to know how to set something up or secure your instance or whatever, you can do that at youtube.com/Linode, Linode. Lots of testimonials at the website if you go to linode.com/twig. But here's one I just plucked. Bryce Adams from Meteoric. He says, quote, "From the start, we were looking for a partner, not a provider. Some of the large providers see us as only a transaction." You know what that's like. Linode is the kind of partner that will be with us from the start, today and beyond. Linode they're the original. They're the one. It's the best way to do cloud infrastructure. Linode's virtual machines are fast and they're very affordable. Whether you're like me working on personal projects or you're managing enterprise infrastructure, you deserve simple, affordable, accessible cloud computing solutions to take your project to the next level. I want you to check it out. Here's the deal. We've got $100 in free credit for you. All you have to do to get it is go to linode.com/twig. Click that create account button. You'll get $100 in free credit. That's a great deal. That's going to last you a long time. Linode.com/twig. They have plenty of distros to choose from. You can configure it however you want with any features you need. Pay for only what you use. Linode.com/twig. Or simply text if you're mobile running around right now, just text TWIT to 474747 and they'll send you a direct link. Text TWIT to 474747. I'm a huge fan. I was so pleased when they called us. I said, I will do this ad for you. I just think you guys are the greatest. I've been a Linode fan and I've used you for years. One of the very best. Give you the address one more time. I want you to use it. Text TWIT to 474747 or go to Linode, linode.com/twig. Let's see. What should we talk about? We've jumped all over the place here. This is so good. I'm having so much fun. And you have to get out of here.
Mudge is
a big deal. Mudge is a huge deal. At Twitter, Mudge was part of the Cult of the Dead Cow. You know who that is, right?
Yes, the beginning of the internet.
Well, actually really one of the early hacking groups, yeah. Mudge is kind of legendary. Very good pick for Twitter for their security guy. I think Twitter.
Did we talk about...
I think Twitter's going to be very interesting in the post-Trump world. They've said already that they are going to treat his account like any other account. Facebook says, no, he's still a world leader. We're going to still give him, a little bit of slack. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Twitter turns into. It was almost, the Trump presidency was really a proof of concept in what Twitter could be.
Facebook is saying he's still a world leader because he's still currently the president, or?
No, after he leaves office is what we're talking about, yeah.
Interesting.
Amazon opens a drugstore. That's a pretty big deal, I think.
Yeah, they bought PillPack. Remember, in fact, PillPack was an advertiser. One of our sponsors. One of many sponsors who's gone on to fame and fortune, being acquired by Amazon.
On your back.
On my back. What we do is they come along, we go, here we go, hup, hup, hup. We lift them up, and they jump over the wall into Amazon land, and we never see them again. But PillPack is actually really cool.
Say hello to Ring when you're over there.
Yeah, Ring's over there, Audible's over there. There are a lot of people on the other side of that wall. So Amazon acquired PillPack.
Amazon, buy Leo. Come on, you can do it.
I'm not against it.
No.
I'll be the first to say I'm not against it. So we've kind of known Amazon had ambitions in the pharmacy world. They will offer free delivery. just like a regular pharmacy, but a by-mail pharmacy. This is a big move. They're using the PillPack infrastructure. They bought them a couple of years ago, including the pharmacy software, the fulfillment centers, and most importantly, I think the relationships with health plans, because it's one thing to say, well, you can buy your drugs here, but if it's not covered by your health plan, nobody's going to do it, at least not people who have a health plan. There's a free 2-day shipping for Prime members, a savings program. Amazon, we knew they were going to get into health. It was just a matter of time. It's a big market.
And they also last Wednesday launched their Care Hub service too, which, you know, you can see in Care Hub was there where you can link your Echo device to someone else's, like
I think this is so
aging
good.
parent.
Yeah, so I could have my mom could, she has to have a separate account. It's not she's on my account.
Right.
But our accounts are linked. So what she could say, for instance, instead of calling 911, she could say, call 911. It would call me. She would call me, and I could say, Mom, what do you need? And I could come running
or
over.
just, Madam A, get help. And it would call whoever she's linked to.
Designates,
and then you get a list of her interactions with her Echo device throughout the day. So they don't say, like, she wanted you to play Jolene. It says, you know, she asked for
listened to music. But see, that's what you want to know. Is mom alive? Is mom is she getting out of bed? That's a big issue with elders. Sometimes they just won't get up. You want to know. And so my mom uses Echo like crazy. I'm going to absolutely set this up. Thank you for reminding me, because I meant to do that.
Okay. So yeah, but you combine that with things like PillPack, and you think about the picture that you can get. And this is where I think metadata is really kind of maybe something we should start thinking about, because it's one thing to say, hey, you know, when your mom's turning on, it doesn't say turn on the light. It actually just says smart home versus entertainment if she played a song, for example. But you'll have a sense of how she's moving about her day, and you think about, like, okay, and now I might get a sense to her medicines that she's taking or taken. It's good, but it's also a little disconcerting. And, you know, you should be really clear when you set these up what they're sharing. Like, my mom would never do this.
No, my father would not get that device out of here. I don't know what to do with that. I'm too old. I got to figure that out. I can't do that.
That's why you should.
My mom would, like, I don't want Jeff Bezos knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah. We did it early on before they thought about that. And we told Lisa's parents, just watch this. Hey, A-word, play Elvis. And that was it. That was all they had to hear. And they have it now in the house. We don't have to mention the Jeff Bezos or anything. And that's the key, is you got to really sell it on the, you know, the uses.
No, that's the first thing my mom asked. She is definitely on
she's
the...
too smart. Can't help you with smart parents.
Your moral panic has spread to your mother. How dare you?
No, Jeff, no.
The other way around, you inherited your moral panic. You came by it honestly?
Could be.
Yes, I came by it honestly, Jeff.
So
the other thing about the Amazon pharmacy, tell me if this is, because I have a good drug plan with my union, that people without insurance can buy prescriptions.
Yeah, but at full bore, right?
No, they're paying.
So Amazon has a health plan? Do you have to
Amazon
buy
basically,
into that?
I think it's where is it? 80% here. Oh, it's somewhere here. Shoot.
Doesn't
That's
it
the wrong
interesting.
story up
that way?
That's interesting.
Oh, darn. Where is it?
So remember, Amazon
NRX
created a
actually require health plan.
Amazon created a employee insurance plan for its employees. They were working with, who was it? Oh, I can't remember. A big financial services company last year to create this kind of Amazon health plan. And at first, they were saying, "Oh, it's just for our employees," but it's often been considered this is probably
so here's the deal. Prime members, now the benefit to Prime, get up to 80% off generic medications and up to 40% off branding.
Oh,
that's
really interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, because like some of my migraine medicines are like $1,000 to $2,000.
That's what we call late-stage capitalism, where your health plan is provided by Amazon.
Yeah.
It's part of your Amazon Prime membership.
16 tons. What is
your health plan?
Another day older
Wow.
if you're lucky from Amazon and deeper in debt.
Wow.
Yeah, GoodRx, I just looked. They don't require health insurance either, and it's just another way to find something that's a little less expensive for you on your prescriptions.
Oh, I get it. Okay. So, yeah, this is the Inside RX Savings Program. All right.
Anyway,
I bet you the discounts aren't that good.
Yeah, it says up to, so one does not know.
Improperly installed Ring cameras are catching fire. So there.
This is a stupid story.
I know. It's dumb. Yeah, of course.
Don't screw the safety screw
into
Use
the
safety
battery.
Screw, not the wood screw.
But they did recall like a lot of them.
They did, because that's what you have to do when you have. I mean, you can't have an exploding doorbell.
No, you shouldn't anyway. But again, that's because they were screwing the long screw in, which was puncturing the lithium-ion battery, and that's why it exploded. Right? It was mistakes in installs. Yes.
Yes.
Putting her to sleep.
Sorry.
Putting her.
Sorry.
Putting her to sleep.
That was timing, John.
Putting her to
I'm like,
sleep.
let's find another story.
Another
that's
story.
exciting.
I think Stacey's looking for the. No, I don't.
How about the changelog real quick? Let's do it.
That's what I was
Let's do it. It's time for
the Google Changelog.
Wow, this is the worst color choice ever. Google has launched the Pixel 4a in a new color called Barely Blue.
I had a Mustang that color, and everyone made fun of me for it. It was the only one on the lot. I bought it.
It's baby blue.
Barely.
Barely.
That green crap Apple is talking.
No, this is
I
blue.
like that baby blue, or it's
Do you?
kind of like a grayish.
It's a
I
light
don't mind
blue.
it.
It's a pale blue. It's what we used to call baby blue, right?
Yeah.
This is blue. This is apple blue. That's a beautiful blue.
The apple blue is gorgeous.
Don't you be
is
dissing
that
my
it?
blue.
That's black.
Right now, that looks
That's not
gray.
blue.
Space gray.
It's a blue.
Yeah, that doesn't look.
It's a blue. It's a blue, and the blue.
I
on
was
the
really
edge.
excited about the blue, but that's
You saw,
not
well,
a
there's
blue.
another blue. There's a bright blue for the
the bright blue's
iPhone
what I meant.
12 and the iPhone Mini. This is the iPhone Pro. It's a more subtle hue of blue, as opposed to barely blue. Big Chrome update. The last Chrome update of the year is 25% faster. And if you have a new M1 Mac, there's a new Chrome for you too, that is native to the M1 processor, which is a big deal because Chrome is quite the pig on Macintosh devices, and they're trying to get back some of that market share from Safari. So, new version of Chrome. Part of the reason Google is pushing this, they don't mention this in this article when they say it's faster and better at battery life and it starts up 25% faster and loads pages 7% faster. They don't mention the not one, but two 0-day flaws in the previous version of Chrome, and you really should get the new Chrome to patch that. That's really bottom line. That's why you should do it. This is, I think, the third 0-day in as many months in Google Chrome.
This virtual work is not working out for them.
Wow. Tennessee Valley Authority, is that what TVA is? Yes. 2 new solar farms for Google and Vanderbilt University. 2 100-megawatt solar farms built in the Tennessee Valley to supply green energy for Vanderbilt University and the Google data centers in Bridgeport, Alabama, and Clarksville, Tennessee. The TVA is, as you might remember, started during the Great Depression. It's federally owned utility, and they're on track to reduce emissions by 70% below 2005 levels by 2030. And a lot of this is through solar. So that's nice. 10 million customers.
I drive by Bell Labs, and they have a huge solar lawn. I think of all that farmable property underneath. It's just now covered up by the solar panels. I don't know. There's something weird about
that. Yeah, just think of all the corn we could raise.
You could have at Bell Labs.
At the Bell Labs.
It's weird.
I think it's better to grow power than to grow corn.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We don't actually eat all of the corn we grow.
That's right.
A number of
we
our
have an
subsidies
excess
programs.
Yeah, we're feed it to the pigs. Yeah. Use Google's AI to make monsters with Chimera Painter, a trained machine learning model that automatically creates a fully fleshed out rendering from a user supplied creature outline. So here's the initial Chimera. Whoa! So this is a GAN. Tell us again what a GAN is, Stacey.
A generative something.
Adversarial
network.
Is that what you mean to say?
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
I'm like, GAN.
What?
Quick.
Making me work again? So this is cool. These generate critters. Oh, there's a creepy GAN generated image.
It's a corgi bunny.
It's a corgi bunny. Is exactly what it is.
It's like a coyote.
A fox?
Because it's
fox
It's
orgy?
a coyote looking.
Coyote fox orgy?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that? I guess what they're doing is they're taking one of the negative features of GANs and turning it into a virtue. An issue with using GANs for generating creatures was the potential loss of an anatomical and spatial coherence when rendering subtle or low contrast parts of images. Examples of this include eyes, fingers, or even distinguishing between overlapping body parts with similar textures. See the affectionately named Boggle Dog below.
Oh, is that the Boggle Dog?
That's the Boggle Dog, the world famous. Look at this foot here. It's going whoop. To solve this.
I still think it's adorable.
Yeah. So anyway.
I would still hug it.
This is something you can download and try. Chimera Painter. Actually, not. I don't know if it's on the web. It's not a download. So just search for Chimera
make your monsters.
Painter, and you can make some monsters. You can do it. You know what? I think your daughter would enjoy this, Stacey.
Maybe that'll be our Zoom Thanksgiving activity.
Create monsters.
And then we can create Pokemon-style rules for them and then play a card game.
Nice.
While the adults are like, what is happening? What's a GAN again?
At the grown-up table.
They're
having their wine at the grown-up Zoom.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, can we talk about dying Google products in the Google changelog? I guess that's a change.
I debated that, but I think that's fine. It's a change. I think it's change.
Google
what do you rule?
I say it's a change, yes.
Yes.
Stacey?
Google is
what is the appeals court here? Stacey, is it okay? Dying things
Madam
in the changelog?
Justice, may we put things that are going away in the changelog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a change.
Okay,
Death
go
is
for
change, man.
Death is change. Google is shutting down its VR field trip app, Expeditions, which we thought really was super cool. Used cardboard to allow students to tour the Louvre or something. But apparently they said, VR headsets are not always accessible to all learners. Yeah, it's made out of cardboard, but inside the cardboard is $1,000 Android phone.
I was going to say, is it the cardboard or the phone?
Yeah, I think it's the phone. Yeah. Google is bringing driving mode to Assistant. This is an update to Google Maps. There's some COVID-related features. You can see the live status of your takeout or delivery orders.
Ooh.
That's nice. As well as the launch of the long-expected new Assistant driving mode. I don't know
I'm not sure what that is. I put it in here, but
yeah. I'm driving here. So if you don't have an Android Auto compatible car, the new Google Assistant driving mode in Maps is essentially allows drivers to get alerts about incoming calls. Oh, I see. It turns the phone itself into a driving mode. Have the assistant read out text messages and control your music, but without leaving Google Maps. So it's all built into Google Maps. So that's interesting. So Maps becomes your kind of your driving companion. I'm excited. My new car is going to have Android Auto as well as Apple's CarPlay. I can't wait.
Every time I see those commercials, I think about you.
Oh, they're running commercials now?
For the Mustang.
Oh. Okay. I guess there's one more that I was just going to ignore, but I'll put it in. Google Chrome introduces tab search. Too many tabs open. Now you can search for.
That is just sad.
That's just sad.
That is, we've created a problem, and we're going to enable and make that problem just.
You have so many tabs open, you don't know what you got in your tabs.
I know one guy who keeps like 400 alive. Josh Benton.
Why?
I don't know.
Just start storing them and keep.
Yeah, or something, or close them. Close the damn tabs.
I need to keep them. Yeah, I don't know.
And speaking of closing, it's the end of the Google changelog.
Can I ask you to explain one story to me?
Explain.
You're so smart, you two.
Explain
you
to
three,
me.
You 4, you 5. 194. Federated login.
Oh.
Why are there 194 stories on this thing?
No,
no
that's
wonder.
not even the end.
of
There's
empty
217. Post-cookie world federated login.
And Stacey, we're staying till we get them all done. Young lady, you're going to eat your broccoli every story.
So this was the Privacy Community Group, a committee of the World Wide Web Consortium meeting. Representatives from Apple and Verizon said they think browser software should, even though sharply limiting the use of third-party cookies, should continue to facilitate federated login. That's the idea that a user can be recognized at multiple independent sites. Log into Facebook, and then you're logged into 16 other sites, I guess.
That's all it is?
Yeah. But there was a debate over
when
all
I log
this.
into something with Google, so it gives me the option
Google's
to log into.
One. That's the one. Yeah, once you're logged into one Google site, you're logged into all, right? That's it. You nailed it.
So Apple has a proposal for is
Apple
logged
has a proposal, and Google has one called Web ID. Yeah. So this sounds different.
I'm not going to worry about this.
Okay, never mind.
They're fighting over it.
They're fighting over it. It'll be a while.
Yeah.
Virtual IDs. And this is to get rid of cookies? Or is it because cookies are...
Because cookies are going to die.
Yeah, everybody's killing cookies for privacy, but what about... I mean, if this weren't proposed by, advertising people, the World Federation of Advertisers pushing for things, I feel a little better about it.
That's how it's going to support media, though.
There is a benefit to being able to stay logged into things.
Yes.
As anyone who has cleared their cache can tell you.
Yes, Leo. Oh, my God.
Horror story.
Oh, my God. So we did not commemorate it, and actually I felt really bad when I got home last Wednesday because it was 11/11, and of course it was in the 11th minute of the 11th hour of the 11th day of November in 1918 that the war to end all wars ended, World War I, and we celebrate Armistice Day on 11/11 because of it, wear poppies to commemorate the fallen at Flanders Field, et cetera, et cetera. And I apologize for not mentioning that. This is a fascinating project.
Love this.
Yeah. The Imperial War Museum in the UK has an image of the sound of the end of the war. But it's an image, not a recording. It was made on film of sound pressure impulses picked up by sound ranging equipment stationed along the Allied front. The actual sound itself was long lost. There were 6 tuned low-frequency microphones arranged in an arc behind Allied lines. The microphones were connected to a string galvanometer at the forward listening position. A low-frequency signal picked up by one of these microphones would move a thin wire in the galvanometer and cast a shadow onto a piece of moving film.
Technology, huh?
It never really made sound. The film would be developed, after which analysts could decode the patterns on the film, and they were using them to work out the positions of enemy guns. So the museum, the Imperial War Museum, had a picture of this, the end of the war, this recording. So they did a little forensic work, and they were able to turn it into actual sound. And now here, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the sound of World War I ending November 11th, 1918. It's hysteria. So these are their artillery guns firing. And then word goes forth that an armistice has been signed. The war is over. And the guns go quiet. Can you imagine? That's and there's some birds.
Yeah, and then birds.
Can't imagine that at all.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, let's take a little break. When we come back, your picks of the week, and then we're going to let Stacey get out of here for a Zoom Thanksgiving or something. I don't know what she's doing.
Yes, Zoom Thanksgiving. That's it.
This episode of Twig brought to you by another great podcast you ought to know about, Remote Works. We talk all the time. Mike Elgin, of course, is the greatest proponent of working all over the world. Remote Works is a podcast that tells the amazing stories of teams that made the shift to working remotely. Season 2 just came out. The premiere is, I think you're going to really enjoy this podcast. The premiere is Racing into a New World of Work. Melanie Green, she's the host, speaks with Aston Martin Red Bull racing drivers Max Verstappen and Alex Albon about what the pandemic taught them about adapting to work differently. Christian Horner, who's the Aston Martin Red Bull racing team principal, shares insight into how he kept his team close when half of them were suddenly forced to work remotely. What does a race car driver do when he's working remotely? I think it had something to do with having the right technology. Also, the second episode of Season 2, Remote Work Extreme Arctic Edition. Imagine, if you will, consider, if you will, living in a tiny hut built in the 1930s. No running water, no electricity. The nearest town is 86 miles away. Your nearest neighbors are polar bears. Who would choose that? Well, Sunniva Sorby and Hilda Falun-Strom. This is their home office in Svalbard, Norway. Listen.
Sunniva comes from Squamish, British Columbia, a community of 19,000 people. Then this opportunity came along, the chance to live in this remote location and collect data to help scientists. This was a chance to make their contribution to fighting climate change. So they packed up and moved to Bumsaboo, and they've had to learn how to work with a lot of extremely complicated technology.
It's not all freezing cold. You'll learn about digital nomads working from the beach in Barbados, Bali, and beyond. It's not just about remote work. Each episode is full of insight and advice you could apply to your work and your team. Look, we know distributed work brings challenges. We're all doing it these days, but it also can be opportunity. That's what Remote Works is all about, helping you find new ways to work, collaborate, and discover new possibilities. Search for Remote Works anywhere you listen to podcasts and download each episode today. That's Remote Works. Download it today. Thank you, Remote Works and Citrix, for your support. Remote Works, what a good idea for a podcast. I wish I'd thought of that.
Well, it's fascinating to see a sponsored content podcast like that. It's really smart.
Yeah, because Citrix, of course, is the facilitating software that allows you to do remote access, right? So it's very, it's really cool. Pardon?
Do they do WebEx or GoToMeeting?
Cisco does WebEx. Citrix owns GoToMeeting.
GoToMeeting.
Yeah, they own a lot. I think now, actually, they may not now. I think LogMeIn has acquired those. So, originally they created GoToMeeting. You're absolutely right, yeah. But the Citrix client is absolutely widely used in enterprise, as you well know. Our picks of the week. Stacey, just in case you have to run out the door to your Zoom Thanksgiving, why don't you kick things off?
Okay, I have. Do you want something? Do you want to see something in action, or do you want to see something that I haven't installed yet?
Both.
Both. No, we don't have time for both. Pick one. I don't care.
right.
Whatever you like. You show us.
Save the other one for next week.
Yeah, whatever you do now, we'll save the other one for next week.
I always promise y'all updates on things because I show you before I install them so you can see them, which I feel is kind of unfair. But
I know we have to see them in situ. Oh,
then I have to take you with me
the
to like my mailbox.
exploding ring cam.
No. This one I'm not gonna put.
Do not hammer a nail through the battery. Okay?
Exactly. I'm gonna follow the basic rules.
You know, I had a ring camera for years. I installed it. I didn't blow it up.
This isn't a ring
followed
camera.
the instructions. But what is this?
This is the Ring doorbell, this is the Ring mailbox sensor that will work with the Ring bridge.
This is this is that Amazon thing, right? This is Sidewalk? Is this Sidewalk?
Okay, so this is not Sidewalk yet. One day, the Ring bridge, so you need a Ring bridge and you need this sensor. This is the sensor. God, it's huge. Good Lord.
Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Our first review, a hands-on.
First unboxing.
God, this thing's big.
Wow.
Where does it go? Does it go on the door? Do you have
It
to have
goes in your mailbox.
It just goes in there.
Goes in your mailbox, and when it goes off, it opens, and it's like, oh, hey, you got mail.
Does it go, you've got mail?
It does not, but I bet I could set up a Madam A notification.
You could do an if this, then that. So which part goes where?
Well, that's a good question. Again, literally just unboxed it. My bet is this is a mount. So if I wanted to, I could mount it. This is a PIR. This looks like a PIR sensor.
Okay. What's that? Infrared?
Yeah. Yes. And then this looks like...
So when light, the mailbox is opened, light comes in and that triggers the PIR sensor.
That's my bet. And this plugs into something. I don't see where it plugs in just yet.
Okay.
But my hunch
motion
is
of the door opening or something. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, it's the
PIR,
not the motion.
It's motion.
Oh, it is motion.
Light.
Okay. It's motion or light.
Yeah, it's any sort of movement, and light counts as movement. This looks like it slides onto something. I'm guessing this is a puck that stands outside, so because your mailbox is like a Faraday cage, so you can't get the signal out of it.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Sure.
So that's what I'm thinking this is, the antennas and such. But I don't see where this goes. Maybe in here. Anyway, haven't installed it yet. We'll tell you next week how it works. But this is my thing of the week. Oh, this is $29.99, and you do need a Ring bridge to work with it. Oh, this is the sticker. So yeah, this goes on the outside of your mailbox.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So that would also be the antenna for Sidewalk once the bridge is installed and all that. So this is for a rural, what they call a rural mailbox. So one of the, the thing that has a door.
The kind we have.
Yeah, the kind we have.
Like I have to walk a whole 1/10 of a mile to get to my mailbox. Yeah.
Wow.
I live on an acre. It's a long, skinny acre too.
526 feet. That's a long way.
It's a long way. Let me tell you, when I'm bringing out the trash cans, I notice.
Oh, I used to have to do that. In fact, what we would do, what we ended up doing, we were so lazy. We had a van. We'd open the back door of the van. The kids would sit on the lip of the van and hold the trash cans and roll them out. I'd drive them out. That was probably insanely dangerous. But
wow. Yeah, we don't do that.
That was very lazy. Very lazy. Kids loved it. They begged to bring out the trash.
So, in to be clear, this isn't Sidewalk yet, because Ring has not been certified. The Ring bridge has not been certified yet as a Sidewalk-enabled device. But one day it will be.
Oh yeah. So here's how it works, or here's what it looks like when you've installed it. The sensor is going to go on the door of the mailbox.
See, there you go.
And then you're exactly right. That's the antenna. And the reason they do it that way, of course, is the wire can go down below and out the opening like that. So you don't have to drill a hole in the box or something like that. I'm tempted. I mean, I can see my mailbox from my front door. It's not like, but I never know if there's mail in it.
Yeah.
You have a problem. You don't want to walk 526 feet there and 526 feet back, which is now not a 10th of a mile.
Disappointed because no one loves you. And
but if my math is correct, it's a 20th of a mile.
In the rain, y'all.
Yeah.
The cold rain.
So you don't want to, in the rain, walk a 20th of a mile. That's a lot of...
It's not that much fun. It's not that bad, but sure.
Okay. Please don't write me. I know my math is wrong. Thank you, Stacey. Jeff, do you have a number?
I do. I was fascinated by this. So Etsy got a huge surge thanks to masks. They've been growing at 20% a year.
Yes, so does Lisa.
Right. So they're growing 20% a year over the last 5 years. This year they're growing 80 to 90%.
Holy cow.
So it tripled. Wow. It took 3 years growth into 1 year. Now, not all that was masks.
No, because you go there and you see all these other ideas. I bought 3 Christmas presents so far from Etsy.
All these customers. So when the mask thing came, Etsy sent out a push notification to all their sellers saying, quote, calling all sellers, start making face masks.
And hundreds of thousands of existing and new sellers started selling face masks. Some of Lisa's best face masks come from Etsy.
Yeah. And then you discover, oh, that's cute too. Oh, I think I'll get that as well. And that's what led to huge growth. So interesting. Really smart, huh?
I love that. Great number. Mr. Ant Pruitt, your pick of the week.
Oh. Well, mine is because I love watching Netflix on the weekends or just any type of docuseries. Yes. And this is probably something that's not new to many of you, but it's called Song Exploder. And it's focusing on the musicians and artists as they sit down and begin to create the work of art that they're getting ready to put out. And in particular, I've watched the first 2 episodes, and the second episode was featuring Hamilton.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
See, right. You like Hamilton after all, I bet, huh? See,
hold on. I didn't say I like to watch Hamilton, but I respect the process. Some people don't know, but I used to be in the band. Even though I was an athlete, I was still in the band.
I didn't know that.
To march and things like that. And I was also in concert band and also in jazz ensemble.
What did you play?
Saxophones.
And I can see that.
And so I love the work and the process that goes into people sitting down and composing music. People, I'm going to piss some people off, but I give a little bit more credit to people that sit down and put a C on the staff and a F sharp on the staff more so versus writing out lyrics. It just seems like it just takes a different type of brain to do that. But just the story behind those 2 episodes just really blew me away. Alicia Keys is another one that I love. And that song, 3 hour drive, the way it came together had 2 total polar opposites far as how her input came in versus the co-op artist in there, how his input came in. It's 2 different ends of the spectrum, but yet it melded together to make this beautiful track. And it really warmed my heart because I heard the song before and never thought anything about it. But when I heard the story behind it, man, it gets you right in the feels.
I actually watch a lot of the music programming on Netflix. They have some really good music documentaries.
Oh, yeah.
I even like the Taylor Swift ones a lot. Miss Americana. I actually really enjoyed that. And the Gaga. I love that stuff. I love to see what it's like to be in that life. So I have not watched Song Exploder. I see it in my grid. So thank you for the recommendation. I will watch it. Yeah, I love that stuff. We've come to the conclusion in the nick of time because it's time for a Zoom Thanksgiving. Now, for those of you who'd like to stick around for our Zoom Thanksgiving, we will be doing that after the show. But meanwhile, Stacey has to get the hell out of here. Stacey on IoT.com. Subscribe.
We're not having a Zoom Thanksgiving after the show.
Oh, we're not? Oh, I misunderstood. Never mind.
But next week is Thanksgiving.
I know. I'm kidding.
And he's deserting us.
I'm not even going to be here next week. We're going to make Jason.
It won't even be dessert.
No.
It'll be a short show and we'll talk only about Google.
Oh, God. You guys are going to really show me up. You probably will, too. I know that. Dang it. We should mention, by the way, that Apple has announced that even though they own all rights to the Charlie Brown specials, they are going to let the Peanuts holiday specials air on public television.
What are they charging for it?
I don't know. But I'm glad because it felt bad that if you didn't have an Apple TV subscription, you wouldn't be able to watch these kind of classic Peanuts episodes. So I'm glad that they're going to put them back on broadcast. In fact, that's a better place to put them. No Dolly Madison ads, though, but no Zinger ads, but that's the way it is. Stacey on IoT.com. Listen to her podcast she does with Kevin Toffel, the IoT podcast. I didn't get around to Malik's amazing article on the Apple
it's a good
M1
one.
chip. But he interviewed everybody. He had some brilliant insights. It's like the Ohm of old. It was really great to read that article. So that's your assignment for the week. Because I felt like we did enough M1 stuff last week. People were getting upset. But it really is a great article. Your old boss at Giga Ohm. Thanks to Aunt Pruitt, hands-on wellness, hands-on photography. You're doing the low-key thing.
That's correct, sir. Low-key portrait photography. We're going to do a lab, so I'm going to walk you through setting up your light, setting up the camera, snapping it, and you're going to love it.
Can't wait. You can find it at twit.tv/hop and twit.tv/how. Thank you also to Jeff Jarvis. My friend Jeff is, as you probably know by now, a Google shareholder, former TV critic, and the director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Did you know that Wrigley was originally a soap maker, and they put gum in the soap to get people to buy the soap, and people liked the gum better, so they stopped making the soap. And
were they chewing the soap? I don't get how this happened.
No, the gum was a come-on to get people to buy the soap.
Oh, I see.
Free gum with this bar of soap. And it turned out people really didn't care about the soap, so they said that we're in the gum business now. Another little tidbit from that great book, Clean. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do This Week in Google. Sometimes it even has to do with Google. Every Wednesday around about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2100 UTC. Here's how you can watch. You just go to twit.tv/live. There's a live video stream. There's also audio if you want to just listen, maybe because you're at work. If you are available, chat with us as you listen at irc.twit.tv. But there is no stigma to people who don't watch live. In fact, most everybody listens after the fact because it's a podcast. You can get on-demand versions of the show at our website, twit.tv/twig. All our shows are there in audio and video. You can also get it on YouTube. There's a whole YouTube channel devoted to This Week in Google. Best way to get it, though, is subscribe. Get your favorite podcast application. Search for Twig. And then that way it'll automatically download whenever the show's available. If you are not listening live, you want to still interact with us, we have a great forum. I want to recommend it. It's the Twit community at www.twit.community. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
I'm Jason Howell, host of Hands on Android, where each week I take a look at the Android operating system and really dive deep into what it can do for you and how it can improve your quality of life, whether it be tips and tricks on how to use it better, whether it can be little known secrets that open up a world of possibilities. So many topics to dive into, including your emails. Subscribe by going to twit.tv/HOA. We'll see you there.